Good evening, good evening, good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk Radio with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, and your brother Ashe SJ. Our brothers will be joining us shortly. They are working some things out behind the scenes and will be coming in to join this broadcast. We have a lot to discuss, family. First, we have to discuss the beating of a 12-year-old sister in Kansas City by a 12-year-old boy. We're going to discuss that. We also going to discuss, the House Intel panel whistleblower that exposed how the current president is trying to play down white aggressionist groups and their tactics and antics. So we're going to get into that. We also have to discuss, as I said last week, the current civil war that is brewing here in the United States. We showed some footage last week of some white aggressionist groups and others that you should be paying attention to. And we're going to continue that this week. We also going to get into, as I discussed last week, who is funding both sides of this civil war. And as with the first civil war, Black people were in the middle. Or if you would say at the helm, at first it was our labor. Now it's our culture and our spending dollar. So that is what the fight is over right now. As I've said many times on this platform, what you have is a war between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, those who want big government and those who do not. So we're going to discuss that even further. We have to discuss also, I mentioned last week that a lot of these protesters are paid for, and I'm going to show you a website where you can check it out for yourself. I mean, volunteer. Get paid to be a protester. I mean, the shenanigans here. We went from, and shout out to the United African Movement. We started with no justice, no peace, to kneeling on our knees, to hands up, don't shoot. And is this the legacy that we want to leave behind? Is this the legacy we want to leave behind? We have to ask ourselves these tough questions. Also, I forgot last month during Black August to mention this bit of history. Oftentimes we would hear that the first Black president was John Hanson until that myth was debunked. And then now, when you ask certain folks, who was the first Black man to run for president here in the United States? And some people will say Barack Obama, some people will say Dick Gregory, but neither is true. The first actually, and his birthday was August 4th, which is why I wanted to mention him during Black August. But his name is George Edwin Taylor, and he ran for president in 1904. And as I said on a couple of programs before, that when Garvey came to the United States, there was a not only economic boom for African Americans, but there was also a political boom. Actually, George Edwin Taylor in 1904, he ran in place of, I believe, Watson was his name, and another Black man for the Republican Party. But I believe Watson was arrested. I have to double check that. I believe Watson was arrested, and he had asked George Edwin Taylor, to run in his place. And actually, they ran on their own political party. The party was called the National Negro Civil Liberties Party. The National Negro Civil Liberties Party. I'm getting tongue-tied. The National Negro Civil Liberties Party. Corrected. But Yes, so it's very important that we understand, while this economic boom happened right after the enslavement of African people, you also had a political net, if you will, to protect that. And so I often employ all of us to, you know, educate ourselves further as far as what we were doing politically at that time. Now, I also wanted to mention too, doing too many things, you get, I tell you, it's rough. But I also wanted to mention that we have our bike ride the end of this month. All of our sisters, I hope to see you at Shirley Chisholm National State Park here in Brooklyn, New York, September 27th at 10 a.m. It's going to be between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. We are going to bike and hike and converse and network with sisters from all over. And this, I hope to be a beginning of a movement and getting our sisters interested in doing things outdoors that can be beneficial to all of us. We pay taxes, and these parks are available to us, and we have to take full use of them. You go to certain areas, like here in New York, other ethnic groups, they're running and exercising in Central Park every day. Just I've never exercised in that park. But we pay taxes. You give all this money to gyms and so on and so forth, but you have at your liberty things available to you that you should use, and get you to look at something a little bit different. It's often said that we don't like to do things outdoors. We don't like kayaking and swimming and hiking, and that's farther from the truth. So we're going to get into that a little bit later towards the end of the show. But speaking of Shirley Chisholm, she wasn't the first Black woman, to run for president. I know everybody believes that, everybody believes that, but actually the first Black woman to run for president here in the United States was Charlene Mitchell. And shout out to Barbara Harold Wilbert, who gave me a book many years ago. And I found that information out reading that book. I believe it's called When and Where I Enter. I believe she was one of the representatives for Angela Davis. She was labeled a communist and so on and so forth. But, that story in itself is very interesting. So, as I said to you guys, it's very important that we study our political history, because those giants, if you will, left us a blueprint that we should pick up and use to our benefit. My brother Ashe SJ is in the building. What's up, brother Ashe? How you feeling, King? What's good with you?
Yeah. I'm feeling great, sis. I'm feeling good. I definitely wanna take my hat off and pay much respect to a powerful brother that has recently transitioned. Shout out to everybody, the whole family of the brother Hashim and Zenga, who was the national chairman of the new Black Panther Party. Unfortunately, the brother has made his transition. That brother is somebody that definitely cared about his people, put in a lot of work for Black people during his time as the national chairman of the new Black Panther Party. I had the opportunity to meet him at UAM. Shout out to the whole United African movement, everybody from that whole era. But I had the great opportunity to meet the brother at UAM, and he was just a straightforward, solid brother, man. It seemed like he was really about putting in that work for his people. And now we got another warrior ancestor with us, but it's just sad when, unfortunately, a lot of brothers and sisters pass on at a young age, or we feel is too young at least. You know, so I definitely take my hat off to him, all of the work that he did, you know, and we just gonna continue to you know, move this Black Power liberation work, move it forward. You know what I'm saying? This is not a reason for us to take this as a loss or anything like that. This is just inspiration for us. It's making us want to continue that, pick up that spear, you know, pick up that shield, and continue putting in this work in honor of our brother that put in so much work for the family, man. And I'm talking about this brother has been around since, you know, the Khalid days, the Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad days. You know, one of the brothers that was right there holding Dr. Khalid down. And all of the times that Khalid was going through, you know, death threats and a whole bunch of other craziness, this brother was right there. And he also played his own part, you know, doing his work when he became the national chairperson of the new Black Panther Party for self-defense. And you know, we definitely honor those that are walking in that path that their ancestors laid out before us. And, you know, we also have to honor ourselves while we here, family. You know, we can't wait until somebody transition to handing their roses, you know. So I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to meet the brother. And, you know, we're going to keep it rolling, keep it going, man. But I definitely had to take some time off for that. But I'm feeling great, sister. You know me, I'm still on warrior mode. It is what it is. You know, it's another day, another battle, another struggle. And, you know, we about that life. We ready to fight for it. So, but I'm ready to go in on some of these topics tonight, sis. I think our brother Tad will be joining us again. You know, I know the family online has been missing our brother. So he should be coming in a few minutes. So yeah, family, you know, it's business as usual, man. We just here doing as much as we can as solid Africans, really trying to help uplift our brothers and sisters, man, through the work that we do or through just this conversation, this platform that we have here. So make sure y'all do us a favor, like, share, subscribe, you know, because it's about to be hot. It's about to get hot. We just getting started, family. So, but yeah, what you want to set it off with tonight, Sister Keisha?
Yeah, and double check that, family, because I got some text messages and stuff that, you know, people who say they subscribed then got unsubscribed. You know, that's what it is. You know, it happens. You know, sometimes you'll see 1,000-something views. The next day is nothing. I'm like, what the hell happened? So we know the games that they play. So you got to check your subscription to make sure if you subscribed that if you were unsubscribed, that you subscribe again. And give the video a like. Give the video a like, family. We want you to do that. So, as I was saying, brothers, Brother Ashe, that, you know, the first Black man to run for president was George Edwin Taylor in 1904. And that's something that I wanted to mention. We were doing Black August, but I totally forgot because his birthday was August 4th. And we don't know our political history that way. Like I said, when we did that broadcast, that when Garvey came to the United States, there was always a unit, a political unit. And what they did was they formed their own parties and began to flush themselves not only on their own parties, but in the 2 or 3 political parties that were established at that time. So when Garvey came, not only was there an economic boom, but there was a political net that protected that economic boom. So much so that there was so much violence on the congressional floor. There's actually a book, it's called Blood in My Eye or something like that. It'll come to me, but it's a book that details all of the beatings that took place on the Senate floor during that time. So when you hear these congressional members today talking about the violence in the street, I guess they forget their own history. You know, that they need to look into that history of the violence that stemmed from Black people wanting to uplift themselves. And them wanting to uplift themselves caused a ripple in the fabric of the Union. So that's when Lincoln was flushed in to try to save the Union, because the South was making so much money at that time. You know, they were able to call shots. So it's huge, but I'm going to get the name of that book so you guys can read about the violence that took place on the congressional floor during that time. So I wanted to give kudos to George Edwin Taylor, because he ran on an independent political party and won that seat. So I'm just saying, family, you know, if we use our history as a guide, as a blueprint, we shouldn't have any problems. Really shouldn't have any problems. So, you know, what do you think about that, you know, Brother Ashe? Because we often hear that, you know, maybe it was Dick Gregory who was the first black man to run for president, you know, against Nixon or during the Nixon run. But that's not accurate. That's not accurate.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's a testament to what we always say when it comes to studying and knowing ourselves, knowing history, family, because we got some ignorant people out here that make jokes and say Bill Clinton was the first black president. You know what I'm saying? Just because he was smoking bud and he knew how to play the saxophone. You know, so, but these are the things we play around with. We love saying things like this, but then when you get Bill Clinton, and now he's starting to get his little buzz from these jokes and the things that y'all trying to say, y'all giving all these passes out. Then you have Bill Clinton and his wife, or whatever, if it's a woman, I don't know, Hillary Clinton. They get the opportunity and the leadway to go into Haiti and to do other things, so on and so forth, because black people giving out too many passes. Because not enough black people, at least, are studying history, knowing what has happened before them, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes. You know, and it's imperative, family. Like, we cannot continue to play games with this, man. If you don't know who you are and where you came from, you definitely ain't got no future. You don't know where you going, family. You know, so when it comes to these presidents and things of that nature, I mean, a lot of y'all still out there vote for Kanye for goddamn president. You know, just because he's a black African descendant, you know, and he's into hip hop and things of that nature. So I remember when that first came out, people were saying, yo, Kanye for president, we're going to vote Kanye in. You know, just by contrast of Trump, people saying that, oh, Kanye will be good. If Trump did it, Kanye could do it and things of that nature. But you already see the direction that Kanye is going in right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going on with him. He been different, and that's why we had Dr. Randy Shaw come up and break it down, because Randy Shaw came with the personal testimony and background history, because he actually knows the same people that's in his circle as far as his moms and all of that. But we see the transition between Kanye West, how he used to be, and how he is now. You know, but it's like so many people get caught up when it comes to this politics. They get caught up in celebrities. And this is why it's important that the conversation that we're going to have tonight is going to be based on celebrities as well. Because right now, like my sister Keisha said, I don't know if y'all saw the video we shared, you know, the political campaigns, all of these parties, they making light of the plight that black people are going through. And they basically not only pulling the wool over our eyes, but blatantly making us look foolish by going and getting all of these celebrities, musicians, artists, things of that nature to talk about politics when they don't know the first goddamn thing about politics. And Ashe will tell you, if I don't know the first goddamn thing about politics, you ain't gonna see me speak on it. I'm gonna sit at the feet of my sister Keisha. She gonna put us all up on game, you know, and then I'm going to pick up a book and learn myself. But you ain't going to hear me speak on nothing I don't know about. But some of these people, they just get so hyped and so caught up in the fact that America is the biggest, you know, this is the new world, the free world. It's supposed to be like the biggest, whatever you want to call it, organization or plantation, whatever the hell you want to call it, you know, because that's all it is a goddamn plantation. But, you know, this is the most publicized when it comes to movies, things of that nature. Like, America is it. You know what I'm saying? We run the culture when it comes to everything worldwide. So people fall in love with that, and then they fall in love with the ego, and then they just join politics for the wrong reasons. Politics is just a tool, family. It's not the end or be all. And it's sickening to me when people still say, oh, well, y'all see what's happening right now. Y'all better make sure y'all get out there and vote. Fam, y'all don't see what's going on. I just read an article they said about Ahmaud Arbery's moms. She just complained in an article talking about all of these organizations and political campaigns is making money off of the death of her son. And she called them out. All of these campaigns, all of these social media platforms and things of that nature, everybody dropping Ahmaud Arbery name. They making money off of the death of her son, and she ain't seeing none of that. And they not contributing in no way positive to Black people. So it's the same exact thing with the political campaigns. Biden, like I mentioned before, he called up, who was it? The parents of, I think it was Jacob Blake. He called them up. Trump tried to get on the phone with them as well. You know, so, but this is a game. It's literally a freaking game to these people, family. But the fact is that we don't, as Black people, we still haven't woken up to see the rules of the goddamn game. Like my brother said, before the game is over. We find out the rules after the game is over. You know, so we really just got to wake up, family, man. If we're going to get into politics, we got to know that this has to be a revolutionary liberation, insurrection type of politics. You know, this can't be no regular, oh, you're going to go to school and learn about what they teach you what politics is. Politics starts in your community. You know, I know some people say hood politics, but that's true. It's not just about being ghetto or whatever, but it's neighborhood politics. It's things of that nature. It's like, you know, building with your brothers and sisters, respecting each other, you know, working with each other, engaging in business with each other, cleaning up your neighborhood. Those are political stances. When you take a stand on one of those things and you say you're going to affect positive change in your community, now you're starting to get political because now you're standing up and saying, look, I'm race first and this is what I'm going to do and I'm unapologetic about it. And that's the first thing. But the problem is when it comes to politics, people start with the reverse. They don't say, oh, I'm race first. And this is my community, and this is the people that I want to represent and uplift. They start out with the education of these politicians that came before them that are not even for their people. So they follow in the footsteps of people that they think are successful, but then you have to measure success. Successful for who? You know, is it successful for us as Black people? No, because we've been playing the same political games with these devils for years and years and years. So we need a new strategy. We need a whole goddamn new strategy when it comes to politics, family. You know, so, I mean, that's how I feel about it right there, Sister Keisha. You know, we just got to stop playing into these games. You know, we had some great people that came before us, some like Keisha just broke it down. You know, but we need to have some people that's going to come and be better than those people. You know, if we are not trying to be better than the generation before us, then we wasting time, family. If we just study in these history books to be repetitive and not learn from the mistakes, like my sister Keisha said, she studies the losses. Most people just study the wins to try to be successful. But how are you going to improve if you don't study the mistakes that people made? If you don't see where the room for growth is? But the problem is a lot of us can't even see where the room for growth is within ourselves. So how can we improve a community, a nation, a race of people if we're not willing to do the work for ourselves? If we're not willing to work on self-improvement, you know, bettering up your family members, things of that nature. Like, these are, like I said, politics starts on a minuscule level. It starts when you wake up and you say, this is who I am. I'm a Black man or woman, you know, and this is the kind of people that I want to represent and hold down. And I'm not going to waver, because some people start in this politics stuff and then they get, you know, they get the little buzz, the little celebrity following. they start to get money because it's all campaigns, mind you. You know, they're getting these donations, and then they water down their speech. You know, Sister Keisha, I don't know if you watched it, but like 2 or 3 weeks ago, they put out the movie on HBO came out about Yusef Hawkins. I believe it's called Yusef Hawkins, A Whirlwind or something like that.
Yeah, I heard the brothers on Community Cop discussing it, but I haven't checked it out personally myself. But if you have, let me know what's up.
Yeah, I watched it like it came out. That is really good. It's really good as far as documenting what was happening, you know, during those times, because they showed all of the video. All of the video from those times, they showed it when they showed them devils out there anti-protesting to the people that was protesting and all of that. It was a really good good documentary, but I'm bringing it up to say that you had some people like Sharpton in it, who back in the days, Sharpton seemed like he was holding it down. You know, he even got stabbed out there for the community, you know, out there marching and protesting and things of that nature. But then we see what time happened. You would not see Sharpton like that no more. That old Sharpton. And we don't even know the way he is now. Shoot, he could have been like that all along. It could have just been a front. But back then, he was a different Sharpton from what he is now. So it's something about politics that we got to understand. Like, what is it that makes people, they might come in as solid brothers and sisters in the beginning of politics, and then somewhere down the line, they switch up. But with me, I don't know. I don't trust it too much. I think politics and the entertainment industry is hand in hand, family. You know, it's very similar. You could because it's like secret society, it's communities. And if you want to be on a certain level, you definitely got to water down or, you know, do something. You got to give something to get something. And this is what's happening in politics. So even when we have people that come in strong, they get watered down. They get wishy-washy at the end. So we need
here's what I say often, you know, that white supremacy invests trillions of dollars into itself yearly. They are not going to just roll that over. And so if you don't come in under a clean hands philosophy or doctrine, you can easily be played and be screwed, because you're coming in with supposed good intentions, but then who's voting with you? Who's voting against you? And right now, as it stands, you have the duopoly, left wing, right wing, Democrat, Republican, both of them playing a game of three-card Monte, if you will, with these PACs who are funneling billions of dollars into these parties. Billions of dollars into these parties. So, you know, I don't know, but I have to check that documentary out. I heard it mentioned on Community Cop. Shout out to 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care. And I also want to give a shout out to Brother Alias, Brother Bomani. The second phase is kicking in, the Revolutionary Prophecy. Get your tickets for mid-October. Follow our page, Thorough Black Talk Radio, and we will have the link where you can get your tickets and get ready for that, because one of the media panels that will take part in this is Thorough Black Talk Radio. And we coming in with nothing but solutions. So what you hear from us now will be a build-up to October. So you're going to want to get them tickets. It's about to go down. It's going to be fire. And we coming with solid solutions that we can deal with right here, right now. Enough of this kneeling and singing and twerking and whatever else is going on. And I want to give a shout out to our sister station. Gotta give them love. Constructive Talk Radio.
Yeah.
Faru, Sister Katasha. Every Tuesday, 8 to 10 p.m. They go in, family. I'm telling you, that show was so hot last week. It was so hot, family. Facebook pulled it. They pulled the video. I mean, it was too much exposure. Too much. You never know what's going to come down the pike with the Real Ones Radio Network. So you better stay tuned for that. But before we get into Ice Cube, because we're going to deal with that, Brother Ashe. As we've been saying here on this platform, that there is a serious rise in white aggressionist groups and black people are in the middle of it. There is a current civil war that is brewing. Black people are in the middle of it yet again, and we don't know. Mainstream media has been downplaying this, and so has the current president, downplaying the rise in these militia groups. We showed some video last week on the left and on the right. But now I'm going to show you what Thorough Black Talk has been saying all along. Let me show you what the Intel panel said. So y'all can't say we out here spewing conspiracy theories and all that kind of foolishness.
Right.
On Wednesday claims that acting U.S. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf told former Undersecretary for Intelligence Brian Murphy to stop assessments on Russian 2020 U.S. election meddling and focus instead on Iran and China. In the complaint, Murphy says that Wolf made the request in mid-May and that the instruction had come to Wolf from White House National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien. Murphy's complaint said that he declined to comply with Wolf's order because doing so would put the country in substantial and specific danger. Probes into Russian meddling in the 2016 election in Trump's favor have overshadowed much of his presidency.
It's a hoax. It's a disgrace.
U.S. officials say Russia, China, and Iran have been working to influence the 2020 election between Trump and his Democratic challenger, Joe Biden. On a second occasion in July, Murphy said that Wolf told him that an intelligence notification on Russian disinformation efforts should be held because it made the president look bad. Murphy said that he, quote, objected, stating that it was improper to hold a vetted intelligence product for reasons of political embarrassment. According to the complaint, Murphy also claims that Wolf and his deputy, Ken Cuccinelli, told him to modify a section of a Homeland Threat Assessment on white supremacist extremists, quote, in a manner that made the threat appear less severe, as well as include information on the prominence of violent left-wing groups.
DHS stands in absolute opposition to any form of violent extremism, whether by white supremacist extremists or anarchist extremists.
Earlier on Wednesday, Wolf acknowledged in a speech that white supremacist extremists played a role in this year's urban violence in the U.S., a revision of the Trump administration's public descriptions of the political motivations of violent protesters.
All right.
Now, as I've been saying, as we have been saying, these militia groups are on the rise. All you got to do is follow the dark web. You know, they're not here and there. Dylan Roof is not a lone wolf. This Kyle Rittenhouse is not a lone wolf. This Andre Bering, not a lone wolf. Columbine shooters, not a lone wolf. Timothy McVeigh, not a lone wolf. Time we connect the dots. We're going to get into who's funneling money to these groups. And since we on the right, I guess we could start with the right. You know, we could deal with the right wings first. But Brother Ashe, how you feel about that? Now all this time we've been saying that these groups are on the rise and our people better pay attention. You better stay focused. You better see what's real. People say, you know, it's just here and there. Here and there where?
Yeah, it just makes me stress to our people, man, that we really gotta get our priorities together, family. You know, our priorities are all messed up, man. You know, let's just be real. We have to do a self-assessment on who we are personally and who we are in our community and who we are as a nation and a race and so on and so forth. We have to do this assessment, family. It is absolutely necessary because some of us are living in some goddamn warped reality, and we start talking about, oh, if I was this and if I was there, if I was that and all of this. Family, are you really preparing yourself? That's the question. It's not about ego. It's not about none of that. Some of our brothers and sisters are. I know a lot of them that are. But the majority of us, our priorities are all wrong. We just had Labor Day weekend here. Labor Day weekend just passed. The West Indian Day Parade was canceled. Canceled. And I'm still seeing videos, hearing that they had a little mini version of Juve. It wasn't a lot of people, but it was still a lot. It was 300 people came out just to chill and party and all that. Don't get it twisted. I love Juve. But why the hell?
Come on, brother.
The parade get canceled and Juve and all of this is canceled, and we still managed to shoot a 6-year-old child in a crossfire at Juve. Now, I don't know if it's the young boys out there. I don't know who it is. But all I'm saying is our priorities are all goddamn wrong, family. Because it seemed like we sitting here pointing the guns back at ourselves instead of pointing it at the goddamn enemies. While the enemies know exactly who their enemies are, and that's us. And we sitting up here still trying to act like crabs in a barrel and worrying about partying and things of that nature. Don't get it wrong. Like I said, we all got to have our thing to take our stress away and all of that. But we need to be doing this as a family. It ain't no excuse for no first of all, 6-year-old shouldn't even have been out there, for one. For two, why y'all shooting when it's children? Like, family. But this is something that, these are things that we should already know. You know, and the fact that we have to repeat these same news articles every year. Somebody getting murdered every year that look like us. But then you ain't hearing enough news articles about the enemies that's murdering us getting murdered. You ain't nowhere near enough of those. I see a lot of news articles of the enemies getting videotaped. I see a lot of articles about them getting recorded when they showing their acts of aggression against us. I don't know what y'all think. Y'all recording? Y'all think y'all gonna have to come up? Y'all think your video gonna go viral and you gonna get paid off of it or something? Because the rate that everybody is recording and not doing nothing about it is really sad, family. But our priorities, family, we need to really get these things together because these people, they organized. It ain't nothing to be fearful of. I ain't saying this to be Freddy Krueger spread the fear around, because we already know what we could do with just our hands as black people. We're not even a full-on army or whatever. We'll take their goddamn weapons from them if we had our African mind. But the problem is we are not prioritizing our African mind. We prioritizing our European lust and the desires that we have to go out here and do these things and act like crabs in a barrel when we should be working together to break out of this goddamn barrel that we in. So let's get our priorities together, family. It don't take much. You could go on YouTube. You could type these groups in, see how they train. Sister Keisha shared a video on a previous show. They physically fit. They training, coming together specifically for this. They watch these movies like, what's the Purge? This gets them hype. They start, somebody had to have an idea of that for them to make a movie out of it. It's based on a goddamn true story.
Facts.
It's just the way that they doing it. They pull a wool over our eyes, make it seem like isolated incidents.
Facts.
When really they all working together. So let's reprioritize. Let's start really focusing and building on the family. let's start looking at each other as family, for one. You know, because we ain't never gonna come together as a group if we ain't looking at each other as family. And when you got your family, you gonna protect them, right? Everybody say, I go hard for my family, don't mess with my family, right? Well, what happened to the Black family? We gotta start moving, not like them, but better than them.
Facts. Facts. Get your EY right. That killed me, man. But you know, as I said, my personal opinion, being that the Labor Day parade was canceled, I think that those who normally attend, all of the bands and the costume makers and those who perform, should have been home studying who started it all, Miss Jessie Waddell.
But you know
Shout
what?
out to the Trinity Massive. Because if they had studied, go ahead, brother.
You know what they were doing though? They were at home in a living room, still having carnival. Keisha, the West Indian parade went online this year. It was virtual, and you had these people that literally paid $3,000 for a costume to stand in a living room and whine and jump up and have fun. Like, I get it, you having fun, but you gonna spend $3,000 for a costume? This shows you the lack of discipline. Wear that damn costume that you had from last year if you're gonna be in your goddamn living room. You know how much positive things you could have put that $3,000 to instead of buying that costume to stand in your living room for a couple hours? How many investments you could have made? How much ammunition you could have purchased? Because these devils out here stockpiling it. Our brother could.
I talked to someone yesterday. European yesterday. I talked to a European yesterday out of Georgia. Said he just got a shipment of ammo. Just got a shipment of ammo. So much so his wife couldn't even bring it in the front door. That's how much it was. Because it's on back order.
Yep.
You listen to Constructive Talk Radio on Tuesday with the Black Rhino, you already know. You already know. But this is something that we have been trying to prepare our people for quite some time, Brother Ashe. You know, I know everybody remembers when President Trump first came into office, his advisor was Steve Bannon, right? And we all know what Breitbart is and where Steve Bannon stands with as it relates to the nationalistic agenda of European Americans. But he's not only the money. He's not the only one funneling money to the alt-right. There is William Rainey. There is Robert Mercer. And I tried to find a video that would discuss these 3 or 4 persons, if you will, in a quick enough manner. Because if I tell you all to go read all these papers, everybody ain't like Sister Keisha want to sit there 20 hours a day read newspapers. But I digress. But I did find something very quick so you can see now, family, where they're getting their money from, where they're getting their backing from. And not just billionaires, everyday mom and pops, everyday folks using their funds for their agenda. They understand, as Baba Harrell always say, that he said this years ago. He said, Keisha, white folks are afraid their numbers are on the decline and they willing to fight at all costs. And then I'll show you some footage too where they say all of that. So listen, family, to this clip real quick so you can see who is funding the right, the alt-right. They get me tongue-tied. Daggone crackers. I'm telling you. Hold on, family. I'm going to do this right now. Let me see. We're going to see who's funding the alt-right.
These are some of the images people associate with white nationalism. But what they might not think about is the money behind it. And it's important because there's more than racist rhetoric fueling the white nationalist movement in the US. It's a question of dollars and cents. So how do white nationalist groups support themselves? This Sunday on AJ Plus, we're exploring the financial ties of the white nationalist movement in the US and the methods they use for self-promotion.
Yes, of course, we fear whites becoming enlightened.
That's Richard Spencer, and he's become one of the most identifiable faces of the present-day white nationalist movement. He's the man credited with popularizing the term alt-right. The group rejects mainstream conservatism and promotes white ethno-nationalism. The real reason you know the 39-year-old is because of a man whose image is so elusive, even we had trouble finding his photo. William Regnery is a multi-millionaire who avoids the public eye. He spent most of his life spreading the ideas of white nationalism. Remember this video shot by The Atlantic?
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
Regnery is the man who gave Spencer his podium at the National Policy Institute. NPI is an organization Regnery co-founded and funds. He's funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars into white nationalist nonprofits, journals and books, and conferences. But why? Well, he's worried that, quote, the white race may go from master of the universe to an anthropological curiosity. Regnery's millions come from his family, which earned a fortune from a textile business before World War II. Part of that money went toward financing the America First Committee. Its mission was to prevent the US from entering the Second World War, and many of its leaders were anti-Semites. The Regnery fortune also set up a publishing house that today releases books by Ann Coulter and Donald Trump. William Regnery's more radical ideas are distributed through a journal called the Occidental Quarterly. Regnery is also influencing the minds of college students. For 40 years, Regnery's backed the Intercollegiate Studies Institute. The organization promotes his idea of Western civilization, which has arguably become a code word for whiteness. Its alumni even include 2 Supreme Court justices. And this is just the beginning of Regnery's influence. He's developed a whole infrastructure to fund racist messages. And Regnery isn't the only one backing white hate. Meet Robert Mercer, a major force behind the rise in popularity of so-called alt-right groups. Mercer is a 70-year-old billionaire who's invested millions into Breitbart News since 2011. The site claims 20 to 40 million unique visitors a month. Critics say it's a home for white nationalists, sexist, and racist writers who are usually shunned by mainstream media. Among them is a name you know, Steve Bannon. Bannon was an advisor to the Mercer family and served as a key member of Trump's administration. His ascent from Breitbart to the White House is a move white nationalists like Spencer have celebrated. Critics have been adamant that Bannon is in line with their views. And so, when the Unite the Right rally erupted into violence, calls for Bannon's resignation surged. Initially, President Trump offered a tepid endorsement of his chief strategist.
He's a good man. He is not a racist, I can tell you that.
Less than a week later, he was fired. But the Mercer family continues to back Bannon. So far, we've named the masterminds supporting white nationalists, either financially or politically. But their sources of funding aren't limited to rich people with deep pockets. It's the little guy's money helping to fuel this movement too. Crowdfunding is quickly becoming a favorite fundraising method. Popular alt-right figures like Richard Spencer have used sites like Patreon to raise thousands of dollars. Patreon is like a GoFundMe for white nationalists, and not just anyone can use it. You have to be invited. Then there's Counterfund and WeSearcher, other websites where white nationalists have raised money for protests and legal defense funds. These sites began popping up when companies like PayPal, GoFundMe, and others specifically banned members of white nationalist groups from raising money on their platforms. And these groups are also utilizing internet advertising. So with all the money white nationalist groups are raising, you might be wondering why you don't hear any alarm bells. Well, Trump's administration has dropped federal funding for at least one group that counters white nationalism. Life After Hate, which helps people leave the white power movement, has seen a 20-fold increase in requests for help since Election Day. Trump decided to cut funding for the group after taking office. Ignoring the threat of white nationalists, the president has instead chosen to focus on what he describes as radical Islamic terrorism.
Something's happening, but you have the radical Islamic extremists.
So how do you combat hate when it ties back to the Oval Office and it's fueled by so much money? A lot of money has been flowing into the white nationalism movement, and we hope we've given you a little bit more insight into the people behind the scenes. Thanks for watching our video, and don't forget to like, share, and
Wow. Crazy, yo.
So now you see where a lot of the money comes from. We know that everyday folks fund their own movement. Why? Because when Kyle Rittenhouse was picked up, the GoFundMe went up right away. When George Zimmerman murdered Trayvon Martin, the GoFundMe went up right away. When Officer Darren Wilson shot and murdered Mike Brown, the GoFundMe went up right away. They understand that this is about survival, as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing taught us very well. We just don't pay attention. We don't pay attention, family. But it's not just the right, as we said. It's not just the right. While all of you out there, and I saw some of y'all out there with your Black Lives Matter signs and your t-shirts and driving the cars and honking your horns and all of this whole kind of stuff, letting people use your suffering for their own benefit.
That's right.
This is why I say politics is very important.
You know what, too, Keisha?
Go ahead, brother.
It's interesting that we're talking about this, right? Because if we're talking about how they raising funds and all of that off of the lives of Black people, like I just mentioned, Ahmaud Arbery mom, she just came out and said what she said about them taking advantage and making money off of the death of her son. I mean, Black Lives Matter, number one, they actually came up for the death of Black people. But we would be remiss if we don't talk about one of the most politically powerful organizations that make their money off of the deaths of Black people, and not just Black people, everybody that die. And that's the NRA. It's interesting, Keisha, because there's an article right now where the number two, one of the top leaders in the NRA, his name is Joshua Powell. He just wrote a book. That he just put out, and it's called NRA, the tell-all account of corruption, greed, paranoia within the most powerful political group in America. Corruption, greed, paranoia. Family. The NRA makes money and sells guns off of fear. So when these mass shootings happen, what you think happened? These white nationalists, left, right, whatever you want to call it, they start running out and buying more guns. And then Black people too start running out and buying guns. So it's all a strategy. It's all a game, like I said in the beginning, family. This book talks about how corrupt the NRA is. I'm talking about for decades and decades of making money off of fear, selling guns off of these mass shootings and things of that nature, the political climate, the racial tension that's happening right now, makes money. This is how they became one of the most politically powerful organizations in America right now. I'm talking about, you got people that work at the NRA that live in $10 million houses or selling fear. You know? So these are things that we got to pay attention to. These people are making money, and they also organizing and protecting themselves at the same goddamn time. What are Black people doing? Because I see a lot of us, and what's his name? Killer Mike. All of these people that want to co-sign the goddamn NRA, like they give a damn about Black people. You know what I'm saying? It's just a tool. If you're going to get your insurance from the NRA and you're going to be a member, then I can understand it's reasons to do that. But don't get it twisted and think that these people got your best interests at heart. Don't get it twisted and get your ego all hyped up because you got an NRA membership and now you can hold you down because you Black and you a member. You still Black. You still one of us. So don't get it twisted, all right? Some of these people, they start getting all bougie and all acting all crazy. Admission ticket to white man's clubhouse. Because you a member, a card-carrying member now, you want to get all hype. Well, don't forget, we got the street clubhouse at the same time. And our brothers and sisters out here that's loaded up don't need no goddamn membership card. All right? So we got to play both sides of the field, just like these devils are. Playing both hands, legal and illegal. Whatever means necessary. That's how we rocking with it. But we just have to make sure, like I said, we prioritize and understand what's happening politically. A lot of these companies, even these stores, like I said previously, these retail stores, all of these people are making money off of black people, Black Death, Black Lives Matter. You know how I think I said it last week on the show. You know how many people, organizations and companies had to go out and hire people just to educate people on diversity and inclusion and Black Lives Matter talks and things of that nature. So this is business as usual, family. And we the only ones that ain't taking advantage of it. We the only ones that's getting taken advantage of. Meanwhile, you got these organizations like Keisha just showed in the video that are really coming together, organizing for a collective goal. And no matter what argument they get into, you ain't gonna see it spill out in the street until they reach that goal, until they accomplish their mission. Trump down with it? Hell yeah, you know he down with it. With raising the fear, saying all these stupid things. Because you know he an NRA supporter. You know that. You know Trump is pro-gun. So I wouldn't be surprised if Trump get on Twitter one day and start saying some crazy stuff. And then,
well, the son already did it, Ashe. You know, Donald Trump Jr. just released his book talking about himself, you know, being a gun enthusiast and, you know, everything that's happening on the left. So, you know, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
That's right.
No shade, no shade. Y'all try to throw nobody in the bus, but it is what it is. It is what it is, brother. You right about everything that you said. And family, like I said, it's just not the right. You know, while you were out there protesting, which is not protesting. We need to stop saying that. They were not protesting. They were chanting and walking the streets and painting signs. That's what you were doing. You were chanting, walking the street, and painting signs. You didn't protest nothing. But, so, all of you out there in the street, where these people come from? You know, when I saw all of it, where these people come from? Then you had, you know, just recently, Ashe, presidential candidate Biden came out and said that his website was hacked because for months on end, when you put in Antifa and Democratic Party, it went straight to his website for months on end. But once, you know, people started talking about it, all of a sudden, a page got hacked. And now you can't direct Antifa straight to the leftist wing of this machine, but they have their hands just as dirty. So, while you all out there, you don't know where these people come from. Some of you sent your kids out. You sent your kids out there to walk with them. Who the hell are these people? Paid protesters. Now you can get a job being a protester. Tell y'all right now, y'all ain't got no bread. You can get a job being a protester. I'm gonna show you a website where you can get a job being a protester. You don't gotta believe.
They already had the hired actors.
Yes.
That been all over the place. The same actors that got shot and murdered supposedly in one state is in the next state at the next crisis. So they paying people for all kind of jobs nowadays.
This is so insulting.
Yeah,
you know, we laugh to keep from crying because this is so insulting. They do it because we don't have an insult level. We don't have an insult level. And unfortunately, a lot of us, brother, aren't politically astute. We only get excited about a campaign unless the media tells us to be excited about a campaign. But and that's a fact, brother.
Did you hear they did a poll? White people actually. White CNN put it out that white people did a poll and they said that the majority of white people already believe that Trump is going to win again. And it even came from the Biden supporters. And they said that Trump is going to win again. We've been saying that. Biden ain't that strong. He ain't strong. Yo, listen, family. Trump is, if you don't think he getting out of here, I don't know what. It's funny, but we ain't that progressive.
And they kill me with this. Well, it's the Democratic way. People know Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. You got Donald Trump. You got Mike Pence. Nobody knows about Howie Hawkins and Angela Nicole Walker.
Yep.
What about Spike Cohen and Joe, what's her name? Jorgensen, right? They're the Libertarian Party. Jorgensen, that's her name. That's how you pronounce it. But it's never an even playing kill with these political races. I know that because I know what happened to the Freedom Party. It's never an even kill. You don't even know who these other candidates are. And these other political parties, right? You got Howie Hawkins and Angela Nicole Walker running on the Green Party. I'm not endorsing them because I don't like their platform either. But they failed because they didn't reach out to the community either. Right? You got the Libertarian Party. You got Joe Jensen. I guess that's how you pronounce it. George Jensen. And Spike Cohen, my brother Tad in the building. You got the Libertarian Party. Where are they? Where's the community outreach?
And you know what's sad?
It's a game. It's a game. Go ahead, brother.
You know what's sad? In that same article that I'm talking about, the same people that voted and said that they already feel that Trump is going to win over Biden, right? They voted again, and the second poll was who do they favor between the vice presidency? You already know who that was. Even though they said Trump is going to win again, that's what they believe. They said they favor Kamala over Pence. So they say Trump going to win, but the person under Trump, they don't favor, but the person under Biden, who they feel is going to lose, they favor her. So that shows you the wool that's pulled over our eyes, family. It's like they just looking for another clean person to rock them back to sleep and talk good and be a good poster child for America. Meanwhile, in the background, we already know all kind of foul stuff is going on. And I guess they picked Kamala. So I don't know if Kamala, maybe she should have went Republican and tried to replace Pence. She might have had a better chance.
Crazy. If you really want to know what white America thinks, listen to some of their podcasts. One right-wing podcast I listen to is Nick DiPaolo. If you really want to know what they really think, listen to their podcast. I do all day, all the time. I listen to Breitbart News, all of it. I listen to all of it. I let them tell me so that I don't have to infer, so that I know that I'm not going crazy. I let them tell me. What better way? That's why we in this business, to let other people tell their stories. That's why we in this business. So I do just that. My brother Ted.
What's up?
Brother Ted in the building.
Yeah.
Ray say, what's up?
No doubt. Peace to the family, man.
Yeah.
My tardiness, building the business, handling some behind the scenes business, coming off the heels of my uncle passing, his transition.
Condolences, brother.
No doubt. It's appreciated. It hit the family pretty hard, but we black folks, we resilient. We take the hit, we bounce back and keep it moving.
Facts.
So y'all go ahead. I walked in on the middle of the conversation. I was breaking my neck in the rain to get back here and everything.
Yeah, it's been pouring today. It's all hot and muggy. Your sister Keisha in here sweating bullets. That's just after working out.
You want to go in now? Let's talk about this celebrity news, because it's like nowadays we got to do celebrity news and politics in the same goddamn segment.
For real.
We can get into it because, as we said, we like to let other people tell their stories. We don't speak for them. You don't have to agree with us. We like that even better. I'm not telling you what to think. Now, so yesterday, I'm sitting at home and I'm minding my own black business. and something comes across my computer on Instagram that Ice Cube has gotten a call from the Biden campaign, and they're going to discuss what is needed in the Black community. Now, Ice Cube said it was about economics. Now, as my brother said earlier, Sister Keisha always studies mistakes and errors first. But I'm not going to talk about what Ice Cube said. I'm going to let Ice Cube tell you what he said. And then we'll analyze it. How about that? Y'all good for that, brothers?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me see. Let me share the screen here, family. Hold on a second. Your Sister Keisha got it. Multitasking as usual. Here we go.
The end game is to get a candidate to adopt this plan because it's needed for Black America. You know, we all got our favorite candidate that we want to win, but the thing is, we need this done. No more time to talk, no more promises. That's the end game. It's to pressure the candidates to adapt some of the things that's in this plan that across the board, they all agree with.
I understand that you actually have sent it to somebody on Biden's team and you've had some contact with them. How was it received?
We talked about a few things, you know, making sure that a fair amount of contracts, government contracts, go to Black businesses. And I say Black specifically because the word minority has actually hurt us because every minority usually gets something but us. I really want to focus on economics. This is something that we really need. I think economics could fix a lot of these other social problems. They're moving full speed on dealing with social issues. The same amount of energy needs to go into getting us out of this economic hole that Black people have found ourselves in generation after generation. We have to close this wealth gap. Both sides have contacted us, and what I see is both sides understand that something big needs to be done. What I think the Biden campaign should really be scared of is, you know, Trump can actually do it. Like, he can try to implement it before the elections. I'm ready to fight for Black people. You know, I'm not concerned about too many other things right now. You know, we've been concerned about so many other things and so many other issues that benefit everybody but us. And it's time for us to benefit. And somebody needs to step up to the plate and do it.
Sound good.
Well, I'm going to let my brothers give their analysis on this commentary made by the brother Ice Cube. And we'll take it from there, family.
You know, Dr. Khalid said a while ago that Ice Cube melted. He said that a long time ago. So if Baba Khalid say that Ice Cube melted, and this was over a decade ago, ain't nothing more that I need to say now. If the Honorable Khalid Muhammad said it. But another instance that was
hold on, brother Ashe. You know your sister got it queued up. Here it go, brother. Here it go.
Down with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Do we got a brother? I'm McNick. I'm the illest. Wanna kill this house nigga Don Cornelius. Can you feel this? You punk niggas make me sick. Sucking on the devil dick, scared of revolution.
For a moment, Black people who pretended to be close to me started running from me. Ice Cube started melting on me. These Negroes who play hard pretend they're gangsters. But when the real gangster, the cracker, comes on the scene, they punk out. Scared to do an album with me now. Scared of what the white folks gonna say. What the Jews gonna say. On this video, some of you seen it on TV, the new one that just came out with Scarface. He say something about put my gat in your mouth or my gun in your mouth and make you vomit. I'm down with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. But when it's time to be down with Khalid Muhammad, shot in both legs, assassination attempt against his life, ain't no goddamn Ice Cube nowhere to be found. He's melting somewhere on the sideline. Punk.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right. The Baba said it a long time ago, family. So don't let these entertainers try to pull the wool over your eyes. You know, but I was gonna say that even in more recent times, Ice Cube has shown himself once again. You know, because very long ago, a few years back, he went on the Bill Maher show. Bill Maher, that's that devil from HBO that has his own late night show. They always talk about politics. And Bill Maher had, right before Ice Cube had came on the show, Bill Maher had said the N-word. And it was a hot topic. Everybody was talking about it. Bill Maher said the N-word. They was talking about canceling him. You know how cancel culture is. So it just so happened that Ice Cube had his interview with Bill Maher already scheduled before when Bill Maher had said the word. So Ice Cube went back out, so he just did the interview anyway. Ice Cube gave this devil a pass for saying the N-word. So I don't want no black person, so-called black person, that's going to give a white man a pass for saying the N-word, speaking for me politically or in any kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. Because you already know it's watered down. He only going to say or do whatever he can without getting his millions taken away and all his businesses and movies and things of that nature. It's only but so far he going to go. And if he say the wrong thing, they going to Nick Cannon him, and he going to Nick Cannon himself and start apologizing. That's exactly what's going to happen with Ice Cube. Let's not forget what happened with Nick Cannon. He tried to get on this insurrection revolutionary vibe, and then look what happened. You think it's the second coming or something? He had an epiphany. I love white people. I love them. God damn it. And cherry pie. I love them, and apple pie and all the other things white people love. That's what Nick Cannon said. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ice Cube starts saying that same song, even though it sound good. Remember, it's election time, family. So these devils are pulling out any trick of the bag that they can get to try to get black people to vote. Biden is already in a bad spot. Don't get it twisted just because the Democrats in these states that we live in, they are progressive or liberals and they talk about getting Trump out of office. Don't get it twisted like in other states, they not primarily for Trump. So Biden, it's a struggle for him right now, and especially with the black vote. That's why he got Kamala. That's why he's talking to Ice Cube and trying to talk to Jacob Blake's parents, because he's trying to rally the black vote.
Cardi B. That interview, oh man. You know, see, this is why we need G-check squads. Because this has got to stop. But my brother Tad, what's your thoughts?
I think we should just stop still looking for acceptance from them, talking about sitting down at their table, talking about what our plan is. We don't need to include them in our plan. So him talking about he wanted to discuss economics for our votes, we got to hold our votes. We really got to organize, you know, because we've been doing this with every political candidate from Obama to Bill Clinton to you name them. And we, you know, and they'll sit there and they'll pacify us and listen to us and say, okay. So, I mean, Ice Cube should, but of course, he's melting. but he should take his influence and really talk with people that really wants to move our culture, our people forward. You know, take that influence and have closed door meetings. Stop trying to publicize what we need to do and what you want done. It's none of their business. They're not concerned. We sound like a bunch of crybabies. I mean, go outside and I go play. We're still, you can, and you know, I like to call it articulate ignorance when it sounds good, but practically it just don't work and it won't move us forward. So we have to organize our own folks and our own political party and have political education meetings. Once this whole COVID thing and we can really get back together, get back to the business of Black business, then we can have these discussions amongst ourselves and groom and shape our own candidates. Let's stop trying to, you know, I digress. Go ahead, Sister Keisha, I'm sorry.
And you know what, before Keisha breaks it all the way down, you know, because that's exactly what I thought Ice Cube was going to do. He had this whole Big Three movement come about. It was going to be the next big thing. I thought it was going to take over the goddamn NBA. For a second, I'm like, wait, maybe Ice Cube is refreezing or something. You know? Maybe somebody of them filled up the tray, the ice tray again, put it back in the freezer. Maybe he's getting cold again. You know? Because the whole Big Three thing, I mean, I'm talking about who had like all of these great old players that was hopping on it. And especially with everything that's happening right now, the NBA is open, they close, they reopen, and they close back again. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now we reopen again because Obama pulled the wool over everybody's eyes and told LeBron and everybody to play again. But LeBron wanted to close the whole thing down.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So Ice Cube he talking about economics on a TMZ on a white platform. You had the perfect time to pull a damn so-called economics you're talking about. You know how they could have capitalized how much off of taking LeBron James and all of these other players, while at least in the duration of the time period that they weren't playing for the NBA, to have them come to the Big Three League, or have them leave the goddamn NBA and come to the Big Three League, or do another NBA, Black NBA. This is what Ice Cube said he is about. Why that didn't happen if you got a platform for that? So we are not prioritizing. This is what we keep saying. It's repetitive. We said this in the beginning of the show. But like Taz said, he wants to go and talk about Black economics with white people. Knowing the history, like Keisha said, this is how it comes full circle. Knowing the history that we have had a great history as Black people when it comes to economics. And when white people see that, the red lines start coming, the move bombing start coming, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So why would you share any kind of economic plan that we have and tell white people that, yeah, Black people are going to start trying to make money? All they're going to do is try to do something to step in the way of that.
Facts. That's 100. And, you know, it gets to a point where I'm even more upset with these political platforms. You know, they reached out to us too. Did they not?
Right.
You didn't see me go on TMZ and talk about the Biden campaign reached out to Thorough Black Talk. You didn't see me do that. No, this is what we need, period. I don't got to broadcast it to nobody. And I know my discipline, right? I am not a musician. I am not going to try to be a musician. Period. Period. And that comes from the arrogance of some of these entertainers to even think that they can get into an arena as far as politics is concerned. When you don't have a platform to stand on, I can see if he was a former congressman who turned hip-hop artist or something like that. It's insulting. And these political platforms are a disgrace. And you got the nerve to tell me I should vote for them? They got Sister Keisha in here sweating tonight. I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad because you don't see the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the Libertarian Party, the Green Party reach out to Jackie Chan and ask him, what are we going to do about the Chinese? You don't see these political platforms reach out to, what's his name? Michael Myers or anybody else to discuss what the Jewish community needs. Why is it that every time it comes to us, they got to reach out to an entertainer or some member of clergy? What's even more disturbing is we don't have an insult level to that.
Right.
Michael Myers and Jackie Chan would not think to do such a thing. Now, I can see if Ice Cube said, you know what, I'll meet with the Biden campaign. But guess what? I'm bringing Dr. Doherty with me. Or I'm bringing Dr. Claude Anderson with me. If that's the platform you wish to discuss. I'm not going to get into an arena to discuss the mental health of Black men, women, and children when we have Dr. Patricia Newton to do that. Why would I do that? That's not my discipline. And for these entertainers and these members of clergy to think that they can keep doing this to us disturbs me. And this is why I say, as we move forward, as we plan for future, as we plan for a nation within a nation, however it may be, we have to have an intelligence agency to deal with these type of issues. Because somebody should have knocked on Ice Cube's door and said, son, that's not how we do things. That's not. If it even, as you saw, that was a clip from TMZ. First, he made this commentary on Instagram. At least that's where I saw it first, right? And then interviewed by TMZ. Why didn't he say, well, let's get some independent Black media outlet. If the Biden campaign wants to come to me, they have to come to me on our terms. Entertainers have no business in this arena. I'm sorry, they don't. Could you imagine a head of state looking at an entertainer for his or her policy? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And we keep doing it. We keep falling for it. Cardi B should have been snatched off a long time ago. I'm sorry. How do you have someone, let me step off my soapbox. I'm be good. I'm gonna let our elders speak. How about that? I'm step off my soapbox and I'm gonna let our elders, those of you who claim to know, claim to be studied, seem to forget, but I do not. So we'll let Brother Malcolm tell you.
These leaders, they call leaders. This included Lena Horne. This included Dick Gregory. And this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the Black community by the white community, and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. And it is an honor, actually, that they endorsed Dr. Martin Luther King and were against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually an honor. Now, when you say that they also, in the same Newsweek poll magazine, I think the pollster said that he went into the Negro community and asked about the Muslims. And many Negroes whom he asked said, well, I never heard of the Muslims. Who are they?
This is the rank and file we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Now, when they got down to the rank and file, this was the answers that they got. This is the equivalent to the situation in Kenya during the Mau Mau uprising, when many frightened whites in Kenya, Africa, would go among the Africans and ask them, what about the Mau Mau? And the African would say, I never heard of them. And the same white man who would ask the African this question and very naively believe what the African said, when he went to bed that night, he would lose his head. And usually the one who took his head was the same African who told him that afternoon he had never heard of the Mau Mau.
Except in the Newsweek poll, they used Negro interviewers.
You'll find that oftentimes Negroes are as much on guard around Negro interviewers, who usually represent the bourgeois element of Negroes, as they are on guard around whites. Usually Negroes know that when this bourgeois Negro walks through the door, he is not doing something that he's initiated himself, but he's involved in something in which the white man is the absolute author of and has sent him to the Negro community for some information. And when they give that Negro some information, usually they give him the information that they want him to take back to the white man. Because
as I said, we tend to forget. Everybody has a role to play. Ice Cube, that is not your role. And I get what he said. You know, we have to have better economic stimulus, if you will. Those governmental contracts should come to us, especially in communities where we are the majority. He's right about that. But he's not the person to do that. He can't speak for all of us.
Right.
Sorry. Because you're go ahead, brother.
To your point, sis, about our level of being insulted. It's just mind-blowing that we are not insulted, because it's almost like to say that we don't have intelligent lawyers, attorneys in our midst. We don't have intelligent judges who are conscious, who are aware of our plight and understand the system, the ins and outs of it, the laws, the application of the laws, and how they affect us, so that we can have things done effectively. Because all they're doing is getting these artists who are going to talk superficially. We just need the police to stop killing us. Well, that's not going to happen, part one, until we make them. But when we talk about real systemic changes, we have to organize within our own communities. We really have to get our greatest minds and sit with them. But we rather sit with Ice Cube than sit with an attorney, rather than sit with an Automatics, or even seek his counsel. Say, well, what do you think? Even though he, I'm quite sure he's tired of talking to our folks. So that's why he's been quiet, But somebody should be like, yo, if you could tell our folks anything, what should we be doing? Because, so many of our elders, like you just played Malcolm, we've been got our marching orders, but we just still dancing in circles. And so many people are posturing themselves like they're intelligent, and they're really idiots. So when you got Cardi B talking politics, come on, man. We done sunk that low. That's where we at with it right now. A chick talking about a WAP. That's what I'm supposed to take my lead from? I'm good.
Then Cardi is, Meg Thee Stallion. Didn't they just have that summer girl thingy, that feminist thingy this summer, and she was supposed to be the leader of that? First of all, I'm not following no female that calls herself a stallion, because that's a male horse. And they already compare Black women to that anyway. So you just picked up that stereotype and ran with it. See what happens with ignorance? You see what happens? And we got to get away from that. 100. Yeah, like Sister Veronica said, he could have called Sister Cynthia McKinney. I'm taking, I'm coming Biden, but I'm bringing Cynthia McKinney with me.
And that's when you're going to start stuttering.
You see what I'm saying? Well, I don't think we can make that meeting now. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. Joe Biden, no, Kamala Harris would not go on a Asian radio station talking about how she was, shooting up heroin in Bangkok somewhere. She gets on, what is that? The Breakfast Club, talking about how she listened to Snoop, smoke weed. This is insulting, as if we don't have a political meter.
Yep.
Nobody questioned Hillary Clinton when she went to the Breakfast Club talking about hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
If I was Charlemagne the God, I would have said, well, I'm glad you got that hot sauce, but did you pull out some soy sauce when you went to speak to the Chinese folks?
Uh-huh.
Where your chicken fried rice at? That's what I want to know. Where your beef lo mein at? They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. We tolerate this nonsense. These entertainers, I'm sorry, these members of clergy should be in fear. They should be in fear of doing such a thing, just like other communities. Now, granted, political candidates do sit down with rabbis, but you don't know about it. You don't see the Grand Rebbe all over TV asking the Biden campaign or the Trump campaign about some matzo ball soup. That they don't do that. They don't do that. So I'm saying to us as a people, we should have a level of insult. Matter of fact, go to these celebrity pages and let them know that they out of pocket. Go to their Twitter feeds, wherever it is you got to do, you out of pocket. But if we are going to build an economic power, Mr. Ice Cube, and I'm a student of history. I don't know everything, don't profess to, but I am a student. And when we built Black Wall Streets all over this country, it was taken because there was no security or a nation to protect it. When you look at white businesses, let's say a mall is going up. They building a new strip mall. While the construction is going on, they got a security guard in the booth somewhere. When a new cathedral is being built, they got security on the premises. You cannot build business and not have security simultaneously. They will take it. You will get crushed. You have to have intelligence to protect that security. That's why when you go to other ethnic groups, let's say you go to Chinatown and Brother Tad wants to open up, I don't know, 3 or 4 better days ahead fitness centers in Chinatown. You think he's just going to go buy some real estate and they just going to let him operate business as usual? Really? That Chinese mob is coming to see Brother Tad. Excuse me. Look here. This here is the rules. Either you follow the rules or you won't get followed. And if he don't comply with the Chinese, right next door to them, downtown Manhattan, is the Italians. They're going to knock on Brother Tad's door. Excuse me. We got a protocol here. Where you came from? But any and everybody can come into our communities and open up any and whatever.
And we welcome them.
We welcome them. People selling synthetic weed, got brothers and sisters out here acting a fool, killing themselves, chewing themselves, all kind of stuff. And we ain't put a stop to it yet. So don't tell me, Mr. Ice Cube, that you got a plan. Really? Really? I ain't got time for that. Because we dying out here. A 12-year-old girl just got her head busted by a 12-year-old white boy because she said she loved her blackness. This ain't a game. And don't tell me to forget about it. We got to move on. These are 12-year-olds. 12-year-old girl got to defend her life for the color of her skin. And we out here talking to Cardi B and talk about WAP. And following some chick named Megan and looking at all these feminists and all these fake politicians. Mr. Gilliam, get off your knees off hotel floors, freaking off. You can't tell me nothing. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. Go ahead, Brother Ashe.
You know what the case? The mother actually said that the little white boy that busted, mind you, they got an image of the little girl, 12-year-old black girl's face split open to the meat. Because she said, my black is beautiful. Now, the mother going to sit here and say, oh, well, I just hope the little white boy that bust my daughter face open, he's still 12 years old. He's still a kid. So I just hope that he still has time to get rid of the hatred and to learn a better way. This is the problem that we have because she don't realize that the parents is training the children to think like that. If you a young child like that, the only way you have that mind frame is because your environment is like that as well. So now we have our people that's getting assaulted, almost killed, and we still hoping that these people will change. Meanwhile, on the other side, the people that are almost killing us are training their whole community to be like this or even worse. It's crazy, family. It's really insane. And I just wanted to, I see you sharing this too, but I wanted to touch on what you said earlier too about the politicians, like, you know, when they go on the Breakfast Club and all of these black platforms, you know, trying to get some votes, trying to rally up the black vote. Like you had Kamala Harris, like I said, was on the Brandy versus Monica versus trying to get the black vote. The thing that we don't realize about that is, first of all, if you look at Hillary Clinton, she don't know not a goddamn thing about black culture, but now she do. She wasn't raised in no goddamn black culture, but she got an education on it. But the thing we don't realize is, before these politicians come to our platforms, they get a whole background training on what to say, how we react to certain things, what not to say, how to fit in. This is the political campaign. They get not only just with us, they get trained on every single thing on what to say. Most of the time when they're giving these speeches in the Oval Office or wherever they at, they got a goddamn teleprompter that they reading from. They even got it down to the science of the color tie and the suit that you wear and how that's going to reflect people's emotions on if they like you or not, or if they're going to vote for you or not. So you think they're not in the background educating people that are coming to the black platforms that this is how you're supposed to act and this is what you're supposed to wear and these are the things you're supposed to say and not say? They have this down to a science. This is why, like Keisha said, you'll hear them have one kind of dialogue or even the energy that they bring when they on a white platform or Asian platform or whatever the case is. And then when they come to the black platform, they chilling, got their feet damn near on the goddamn table. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just extra casual because they just trying to be cool. They just trying to fit in. They just trying to make black people, like Ty said, they trying to pacify us and pull a wool over our eyes to make it seem like they down. And then we get so caught up in the fact that, oh, they down. This person is cool. That we forget that they supposed to be doing something for us. They supposed to be working for us. We start working for their ass. We start going out and telling the whole goddamn black community, did you see Bill Clinton play that saxophone? Did you see that hot social Hillary Clinton pulled out? Then the video go viral. Next thing you know, Hillary Clinton got a whole bunch more votes because we end up working for their asses. And they supposed to be working for us. But they got this down. They study black people. They got us down to a science, family. They know how we respond to certain things. They know what works and what will not work. Even in times when these politicians or these white people say things that have backlash against with black people, when we don't like the things they say, they already know that. Like when Joe Biden went on the Breakfast Club and said what he had to say, you know, said all of these crazy things, and black people wasn't feeling it. Yeah, he could have made a mistake, but there's a possibility that he said those things on purpose to get the other side, the opposition, the ops, like the young boys say, to get the enemies riled up. Oh, he went on a black platform and said something negative about them. Like, now I'm going to vote for them. That's what these hillbillies are saying out there. That's what these white nationalists are saying. And this is the reason why Trump is so successful, because he knows exactly how to play that. He plays off the emotions. He knows exactly what people want, and he gives it to their ass, and they support him. So this is politics as usual, family. If you think that they don't study every single thing that the amount of times they blink, the amount of breaths they take, they study all of that, family, because it all matters when you on camera in front of a whole goddamn country. Every little thing you do is scrutinized when you on camera in front of a whole country. So trust me, they are definitely studying us as well.
Yes, indeed, my brother. Yes,
Well, you
indeed.
ain't really black if you don't vote for Biden. Just remember that.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, boy, man, I'll tell you, they just feel they can just insult us, say whatever they want. But like I said before, family, let's be careful. Let's be mindful. Let's try to educate ourselves a little bit better about the political process. And as I said before, as we get closer to the election day, every week I'm trying to give you as much as I possibly can to educate you on this process so that we can stop being tricked and confused out here. Because, as you said, Brother Ashe, there is a law, and it's called separation of church and state. But that's null and void when it comes to Black people. Biden can come into a house of worship of Black folks, take a knee and put on a kente mask, and he down.
Word.
He down. Everybody negates his record.
Word.
Me, Brother Tad, we come from the 80s.
Word.
We remember clearly what the crack era was like. We still got people we know locked behind the wall.
For real.
Thanks to the Biden law.
Right, that he's so proud of.
Two of them. The 80s and the 90s. He revised it in the 90s. Let's be clear. So we're going to unpack a whole lot as we get closer to the election. But I want you all to understand that a lot of these protesters, as we said earlier, are paid ops. Paid ops. Could you imagine getting justice with somebody who's paid to do something for someone else? Yeah, paid ops. Now, we're going to show you, because we don't like y'all to go and say, thorough Black talk. They spewing that conspiracy theory stuff. No, the hell we ain't. We get it from the horse's mouth. But here it is. Let y'all hear for yourself. And then I'm going to show you a website where they advertise. Okay? Check this out, family.
George Soros, the billionaire financier, says he understands anti-bank protests that started in New York and have spread across the United States. The Hungarian-born investor, whose net worth is an estimated 16 billion euros, said he sympathized with the Occupy Wall Street movement. Soros was speaking at a meeting at the UN headquarters in Manhattan.
I can understand their sentiments, frankly. There are a lot of people, for instance, running small businesses, who saw their credit card charges being raised from 8% to 28%.
The Occupy Wall Street movement began on September the 17th, with demonstrators trying to pitch tents in front of the New York Stock Exchange. Similar protests have been held in a number of other US cities over the past 15 days, including Chicago, San Francisco, and Los Angeles.
Hey, so at one point, a woman sort of facetiously asked if there were any paid protesters in the house. And of course, everybody shouted no and groaned. But you stood up and indicated that you are a paid protester. What did you mean by that?
Well, I meant, like we all get paid to be,
No, I don't know. Please explain.
Well, it's a difficult thing to explain, but basically, anytime that you're given the opportunity to protest and somebody will pay you to do it, that's like twice as good as just doing it on your own time.
So you weren't kidding around. You actually meant that you have been paid at some point to protest?
Yeah, like
How can I get in on that?
Yeah. Okay. So, you go to like georgesoros.com and you just sign up right there. You put your name in, you put your email address, and there's an empty box there where you say how many times you're willing to protest and how much you want to get paid.
And you get a check directly from Soros.
Directly from Soros.
That's incredible.
Signed by him. He even invited me to lunch.
Does he sign it in blood?
He said if I'm willing to gather some more friends, I can get paid twice as much for every friend that I gather and kind of set up a pyramid scheme.
And you can get rich just based on protesting for Soros, right?
I already have, yeah. So basically, I've been organizing most of the protesting that you see in California so far, and it's all due to being paid. If I wasn't paid, I would be, like skiing. But
this is unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I just wish more people knew about it, because then we could actually like start a movement.
Okay, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy.
Wow.
Once that went out, because this was done a couple of years ago with the Young Turks network, they pulled the connection from George Soros to, as I said, the Democratic Party. Now, what you do have is a myriad of other sites that advertise that you can hire protesters. And I'm going to show you this. This just the website so y'all can see for yourself. Here it is. Here's a website right here. Protestjobs.com.
Wow.
What we do, politically agnostic. We don't care what your political affiliation is or what your movement is about. We supply the money. We supply the protesters. Connect. We connect our network of professional protesters with the protest organizers using advanced analytics and artificial intelligence to determine the best match. Secret payment. No need to worry about 1090 or W-9s. We organize and securely pay all protesters with secret Bitcoin currency. Now, that also tells you that, as I said, there once was a connect from Antifa that'll lead you right to the Democratic Party. This just tells you that the government is complicit in committing a crime. And that's why you have to understand what these people are saying. They are complicit in committing a crime here. You don't know who the hell is out there. That's why you got the Boogaloo Boys out there amongst you. You got Rise Above out there. You got the Proud Boys out there. Any and everybody is out there. I remember my sister saying to me, in Lower Manhattan, she used to walk past and all the protesters was camped out, outside of the Federal Building downtown Manhattan. And she always said, Keisha, it stinks so bad. Like these people got to be homeless or something. Where the hell they came from? So now you know. So now you know. What you brothers think?
You know what's crazy though? It makes perfect sense because a lot of times I'm like, yo, we're on the ground. And how do these movements be popping up out of nowhere with thousands of people? And I ain't heard nothing, nobody organizing in Bed-Stuy, nowhere about these rallies that's supposed to happen. And you just see these people from nowhere, But it's like somebody just posted, the Sister Marie in the comments just posted, Remember our brother, peace be upon him, D. Seals talked about that. Remember, he was always saying, down in Ferguson, these people are not from here. These people are not from here. Remember, our brother Chris Seltzer, who was on our other platform, said that they came and took all the money that was allocated for the people in Ferguson and just left town. Remember, they said once checks was cut to help the people in Ferguson, and I'm talking about checks from honest people, not the Soros checks, but checks from honest people who really wanted to help the people of Ferguson. BLM jumped right ahead of the line with their hands out, like, no, give it to us, pew, and was gone. Now it's all starting to make sense because I never understood how do so many people just come like that. But
now we know. Now we know, brother Ashe.
Remember too, the $1 billion house that D. Ray McKenzie was living in. Right. Found that was actually on. Look that one up, family. Don't believe me. D. Ray McKenzie stays on $1 billion.
It's getting choppy, Ashe.
I believe it was California.
Repeat that again, brother, because it got kind of choppy.
I said, look it up. Don't believe what I'm saying. Look it up for yourself. D. Ray McKennison lives in, I believe it was California, but it was like a $10 million home. Wow. And it was owned by George Soros. His name was on the deed and all of that. And that's where D. Ray McKennison is. If you don't know, D. Ray is one of the founders of Black Lives Matter. So there's receipts out there. This is not some conspiracy theory thing like Keisha said that we talking about. There's receipts out there. You can really look this stuff up for yourself and do your research, family. You know, but we know we preach it to the choir up here with that. But it's just a shame that so many people are so gullible and really don't do their own research and learn what is actually going on out here. These things are organized. Who it is, who's the bigger hand, we know it ain't us. So that's all that matters. It don't matter if it's left or right, like we said earlier. It don't matter who you voting for. It ain't us. It ain't got our benefit or no black agenda at hand, you know? So let's start creating our own agenda, family. Let's start organizing even better than the way that these people start organizing, family. This is the only way that we're going to really get out of this hole that we're in. But I know we're wrapping up. We got a couple more minutes, family. Keisha, you want to touch on anything before we get up out of here?
Yeah, really quick. Like I said, we're going to continue this. As we get closer to the election, I'm going to start breaking down a whole lot of things so you guys can have a clearer picture of what it is that you're dealing with. As I said last week and this week, we are in the midst of a new civil war here in this country. And this is not conspiracy theory. As I've been showing you, I'm going to let them tell you next week that they are in the middle of a civil war. And just like the first one was over us, so is this one. Not Latinos, not the LGBTQ, none of that. None of that. I'm going to show you exactly where we are, and the role we're playing in it without us even knowing. Without us even knowing. So, as you said, brother, we get down to the end of the program. I see all of these in the queue. You're right, Sister Marie. You're right, Sister Veronica. Sister Vanessa. Yes, and Brother Kev, we already know what it is. When you're dealing with these entertainers, you know, Cardi B should be in fear to get on a political platform and discuss anything for us. We got to put that fear in their hearts. We got to make them understand that this is a no-go. You don't listen. You don't have to believe me. You know, some people, like I said, everybody ain't a bookworm like your sister Keisha, but you can go to YouTube. You could go to Amish Mafia. Everybody knows about the Amish. They're a nation within a nation. Mm-hmm. Completely self-sufficient. How do they protect it? They have an intelligence wing and they have a mafia. Y'all don't have to believe me. Go to YouTube, put in Amish Mafia, and look for yourself. And the two go hand in hand so that they can protect what they have. You have what you call Orthodox Amish, and you have Mennonites. The Mennonites are the gatekeepers. They play no games. They play no games. And they are just as ruthless as any other mafia. But it's on the low. It's on the low. How they operate to protect their own. And a lot of you get on your high horse and you say, you know, well, I don't want to deal with my brothers and sisters from the streets. Really? Who the hell you think protects other communities? There's a Jewish mafia. There's an Italian mafia. There's an Irish mafia. There's a Chinese mafia. There's the Korean mafia. I just told you, there's an Amish mafia. Hell, even the goddamn polygamists, the Branch Davidians got a mafia. We doing this thing wrong. And that's why we losing. That's why we losing. So each week, as I said, we're going to break it down, fam. We're going to break it down for you because I don't want y'all to be ignorant to the game no more. My brothers, final thoughts, final words.
Well, it's good to be back with the family. But to the folks, you know how I feel. Hopefully y'all learned something tonight and you were inspired by what you heard. Now it's your turn to go out and inspire other people. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Brother Ashe.
That's right, man. Definitely glad to have you back, big brother. You know, we definitely held you down while you were out, and much love to you and the family. And everybody that has lost someone. You know, earlier in the show, Tad, I also had to hail up Hashim and Zinger, who recently passed away. You know, national chairman of the new Black Panther Party. He just transitioned, and a lot of people are still feeling it from Chadwick Boseman's passing and things of that nature. So it's a pivotal time right now. You know, we lost 2 Black Panthers.
Word, right? For real.
Black Panther, the image of the Black Panther, which was powerful no matter what spin or if you didn't like the movie or whatever, it was a powerful image. And we lost a real life new Black Panther, Hashim and Zinger, who was on the front lines with Dr. Khaled. You know, so it seemed like we taking hits everywhere, family, but this is why Ashe always say, wherever we go, we got to breed more warriors. Pick up that spear, educate your brothers and sisters. Don't sit on no high horse, like Keisha said. We got to work with our brothers and sisters and uplift ourselves, family. This is how we going to win. This is how we going to build that Black mafia that we need to put in this real work. You know what I'm saying? So remember, true courage is knowing how to suffer. This is your brother Ashe SJ. Signing out. Remember, the battlefield is where you stand, family. Keep it thorough. Yeah.
My brothers said it well. We thank you all for coming in and joining us every week. Again, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Share the channel, like the page, because they play games with the numbers. As we reported earlier, the government is good for fudging numbers, especially when you're right and exact. But Thorough Black Talk is always going to give you that real. Again, sisters, get ready. September 27th is going down at Shirley Chisholm Straight Park. The gyms are back open. I was doing some leg presses. My knee is killing me right now. So I'm about to go give myself a facial and put my knee up. And relax. Y'all stay safe, stay thorough, stay Black, and come back every week for this real talk. How we give it to you. We out, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Salute.
Yeah.